Regulation J is now live on the Battle Stadium ladder, which means mythical Pokemon are now legal, and we're going to be trying out an interesting team created by one of the world champions that features Throat Spray Arceus and seeing how well it can perform. This is Ryota's Calyx Shadow plus Throat Spray Arceus team that features Gastrodon as well. Let's break it down. First up, we have the Focus Sash Calyx Shadow Rider with the As One ability with the Dark Terra type to help out against opposing Calyx Shadow Rider, as well as just be immune to any Psychic type moves with the Astral Barrage, Psychic, Encore, and Protect. It's a pretty standard Focus Sash Calyx Shadow Rider. What to say? It's one of the fastest Pokemon in the format, has a really great special attack stat. Spread Astral Barrage is absolutely insane. Yeah, I don't really think there's really much to say about Calyx Shadow Rider. We know how strong it was in the Legendary Restricted of Generation 8 and Generation 9. Yeah, not much to say about it. You always go max speed with a timid nature because, of course, opposing Calyx Shadow Rider is a thing, and you want to be fast to utilize that Encore threat, especially against opposing restricteds that aren't Calyx Shadow Rider. Next Pokemon we have is the Throat Spray Arceus with the multi-type. Of course, that does mean if the Arceus does hold a plate item, it will be able to transform into that type. However, yeah, this Arceus does not have a type, and normal type is just really good because it's great against opposing Calyx Shadow Rider, and that means Arceus can just hold an item, so they have to guess a lot of sets between Clear Amulet, Life Orb, Choice Band, Choice Specs. Like, Arceus is just an absolutely insane mod because of the fact that it has such good coverage across the board and run different types. You can't see its typing in Team Preview. Yeah, it's absolutely absurd. Ground Terra type is going to be your option, so you can actually go for like really strong Earth powers with that Terra Ground option. Able to threaten Pokemon like Zamazenta, good into Miraidon. It's great against Chiyu and Incineroar that it Calyx doesn't appreciate. Yeah, with that Throat Spray boost, which is the same type attack bonus from the Hyper Voice, able to do a good amount of damage, boost the special attack further, so you basically get a +1 Choice Specs boost basically, and is able to threaten a lot of damage with the Shadow Ball coverage. It opposing Calyx Shadow Rider while being immune to the Astral Barrage. Yeah, it's a really strong option. This one's running a pretty bulky set with 164 speed, which kind of curious on what this really hits because there's not really too much. Maybe it's just speed creeping some of like the really bulky Miraidons out there and Koraidons that run like no speed investment. Otherwise, you are able to outspeed, I guess, like Adamant Urshifu and stuff around that speed tier like Modest Chiyu, some 95 base 95s in general, like base 90s that are also like max speed. But yeah, it's a weird speed stat, so I'm kind of interested on the exact reasoning for 161. But yeah, there's so much you could really run on Arceus. You could go with a very fast speed stat as well, but really, like, Throat Spray is able to get multiple hit off. You have the Icy Wind pressure from the Flutter main to make up for the lost speed. And you just have just 120 base stats in every single stat, which is super solid. It's not like it's dominating, but it's just absolutely incredible because it's tanky. It's going to be able to do a good amount of damage regardless. Like, yeah, like this Pokemon is just such a threat in Regulation J. Next Pokemon we have is the Gastrodon with the Leftovers with the Storm Drain ability that is able to get a special attack boost from water type moves, draw them away, and not take any damage in response. But the Steel Terra type, that's just really useful against really strong Fairy coverage, as well as any Grass coverage that might be coming to Gastrodon's way, with Earth Power, Icy Wind, Yawn, and Protect. Across the board, Gastrodon's an interesting Pokemon. It has won several World Championships, including one in a restricted format in 2022, and it's pretty good against Pokemon like the Kyogre. Can be a nice electric switch in to cover from Miraidon, and having that ground coverage, of course, is just really solid. Icy Wind speed control is very much appreciated, especially since this team doesn't have the best answers to Kyogre. The fact that the Gastrodon is just immune to the water type moves is just very much appreciated. That Yawn can really be disruptive for some switches, which can allow you to get some momentum, which is amazing. And yeah, Protect to keep itself around, get the Leftovers recovery, and this is a very bulky Gastrodon set. The IVs you might notice is going to be 8 speed IVs, which does mean that the Gastrodon does underspeed Calyx Ice Rider and Ursaluna, those base 50 speed tiers, Iron Hands as well, which means that if you are under Trick Room, you're guaranteed to outspeed with this Gastrodon, and it's just able to really tank attacks with a good amount of HP, which is able to get pretty much the maximum amount of Leftovers recovery that Gastrodon gets access to. the really high amount of special defense to take on Kyogre, as well as just Astral Barrages, Miraidon attacks, and more. Especially with that Terra Steel, you can resist a Draco Meteor, and then you just have the rest of the investment a little bit divided into special attacks, so the Earth Power is hitting a bit harder, and then a bit more into defense, so it can actually take those physical attacks. But across the board, this Gastrodon, a niche role on this team, but we'll see if it works out. Then we have the Choice Scarf Rapid Strike Urshifu with the Unseen Fist, which allows its physical contact moves to go through Protect with the Ghost Terror type to help out against Fake Out, as well as be immune to the extreme speeds, as well as body presses from Zamazenta in general, with Surging Strikes, Close Combat, U-Turn, and Terra Blast. A really interesting Urshifu. It is a max speed Urshifu, which is able to threaten quite a bit, especially like the modest Chiyus in the format and more. You have this Jolly Urshifu that's able to outspeed and threaten them, as well as like being able to guarantee outspeed like Annihilate, for example. It's just able to do a lot of damage, outspeed Calc Shadow Rider, all of those Pokemon, and dish out a good amount of damage. 30 strikes, close combat, U-turn, we all know what those do. And then Terra Blast, Terra Ghost option, which is an interesting option, but it is able to hit the opposing Calc Shadow Riders and threaten them. Next Pokemon we have is the Booster Energy Fluttermane, giving its speed booster with its Photosynthesis ability with the normal Terra type to help out against Astral Barrage from Calc Shadow Rider, as well as the Moongeist Beam from Lunala with Moonblast, Icy Wind, Fake Tears, and Taunt. It's a really interesting supportive Fluttermane set, which is just able to help out the Arceus and the Calc Shadow Rider. You're able to go for Icy Winds for the speed drops, so your Shadow Rider and Arceus are moving first and really able to apply the pressure that way. Moonblast, of course, Great Fairy type attack. Fake Tears for the Astral Barrage, Psychic, or Hyper Voice combinations from the Arceus can really allow for some cool knockouts. And then Taunt for some disruption, especially against Trick Room and a few other things like Redirection, Amoonguss, and more. Like, it's just very useful there. EV spread wise, this is a pretty bulky Fluttermane. It has a lot of physical defense to survive stuff like the Chien Pao Icicle Crash from Sword of Ruin, and multiple attacks like maybe even the Surging Strikes from some Urshifus, as well as just being able to basically outspeed most of the format with that booster energy. It's not like a max speed booster energy Fluttermane, but still gets the speed boost because you don't invest that much special attack. The special attack 116 actually makes sure that you get the speed booster because you had that 4 with the timid investment. 116 still allows you to do some pretty strong damage with that Moonblast and Icy Wind combinations. But yeah, this is a bulky disruptive Fluttermane that's supposed to, again, speed control, Taunt for disruption, and Fake Tears allow for some really surprising KOs with the Arceus and the Calyx Shadow Rider. It also scares opposing Calyx Shadow Riders that might be fearful of the Shadow Ball, and if they do go for Terra Dark, you have a way to punish it because you do have that Moonblast option from the Fluttermane. Final Pokemon on the team is the Cornerstone Ogerpon with the Cornerstone Mask, the Sturdy ability, which allows it to survive one really strong hit with the Rock Terra type with Ivy Cudgel, Power Whip, Follow Me, and Spiky Shield. Pretty standard Cornerstone Ogerpon. It's really just able to do a ton of damage. That redirection, Sturdy, is so valuable in this format, just guaranteeing being able to survive one attack. Can be really clutch to be able to either redirect 2 hits or just be able to get a really strong attack off, because with that mask boost, with the strong attack with the animate nature as well, you're really going to be able to hit pretty hard with those Ivy Cudgels and those Power Whips. Across the board, you're running Animate instead of Jolly just for the extra power. You don't really need the Jolly nature because it's not like too much in the format other than like maybe some base 100s, but like stuff like the Chiyu often tend to run the Choice Scarf anyway, so not the biggest deal in the world. Just going for the full power, being able to hit the Ice Riders for more damage if possible. And yeah, that is the goal of this Ogerpon. Do a ton of damage and have good redirection support for the Arceus and the Calyx Shadow Rider. So how to use the team across the board, it is mainly just about trying to set up with the Arceus with the Throat Spray. You do have a few tools that are able to support it pretty well. The Urshifu can force terrestrializations, which is pretty interesting, because then you can plan out like how you map out either the Calyx Shadow or Arceus to really be able to sweep positions. You also have, of course, the speed booster Fluttermane with that Fake Tears, Taunt Disruption, and the Icy Wind speed control, which is very nice to support the restricteds. And the Arceus, again, really bulky Pokemon. It's able to tank attacks, fire off some pretty solid damage off initial hits, and then after that Throat Spray really will be hitting hard, especially with that Terra Ground, which they might not expect. Able to drop things like Miraidon and can be very strong. Calyx Shadow Rider with the Encore Disruption can of course be a fantastic tool to help support that Arceus, and of course just be able to prevent stuff from like Zamazenta, because if they do go for like a body press, you could go for an Encore Lock, have the Flutter Mane and Calyx Shadow Rider in. Same thing with against Extreme Speed Arceus as well, or the Terra Normal Swords Dance set. Yeah, you can just lock them in, and having double ghosts on the field is like really effective against both of those combinations. And yeah, it's very disruptive and helps again set up the Arceus or the other Pokemon for some knockouts. Then you also have like this Gastrodon slow mode where you can have the Icy Wind or Yawn really just force them to switch out, so you can set up your Arceus that way. And of course Cornerstone Ogerpon and go with a redirection mode for the Arceus and the Calyx Shadow Rider. You have a bunch of different leads. Flutter Mane plus Calyx Shadow Rider Arceus is pretty strong. You have an Urshifu lead that can just go off immediately with either Shadow Rider Arceus or Flutter Mane for some really fast offense. Same thing with Cornerstone Ogerpon. Cornerstone Ogerpon has that redirection support, so you can lead it with anything and just go for like redirection plus a really strong attack, or just go for like Flutter Mane, Cornerstone Ogerpon, Icy Wind, Ivy Cudgel, or Power Whip. You also have like Urshifu that just like pressures a lot with the Choice Scarf and can force some terrasilizations. And yeah, there's just so many different modes that you can really go for with the team, but it's really just like trying to figure out a way to set up for either Shadow Rider or Arceus to be in a really good spot. If you'd like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be linked in the description down below, and let me know in the comments what Mythicals are you looking forward to seeing in Regulation J. And if you are actually playing Regulation J, since it is a Battle Stadium exclusive ladder format only, as it won't be any format that will be playing in tournaments, at least to our knowledge. Maybe they release it towards the end of November, you never know. But let me know in the comments down below, do you plan on playing Regulation J, and what mythical Pokemon are you looking forward to? But otherwise, let's get started and play some games. All right, we have Arceus, Rayquaza, Urshifu, Chien-Pao, Tornadus, and the Mimikyu. Oh boy, Arceus. We are facing an Arceus. Let us see how this one's gonna go. I'm kind of curious on what set it will be, because that's gonna be a big one. I do like Flutter Mane a lot in this matchup because we do have speed booster Flutter Mane, which is useful. The problem is we're not max speed, so the Urshifu could actually be a bit problematic. We do have Gastrodon though. Gastrodon is not bad here in this matchup. I think I will lead Flutter Mane Arceus. I don't mind leading Flutter Mane Arceus. I just it's always like, what kind of Arceus would I expect my opponent to have? Because they could just run any type, and I have no idea what to expect here. I do like Flutter Mane, I think Arceus, because I think it's a good bring, and then I think in the back have Shadow Rider and the Gastrodon, because I think Gastrodon is going to be good into the Water Urshifu. If it's Water Urshifu, it could be Dark Urshifu too. Man, this format has so many things about it, man. And then bring Calyx Shadow Rider in the back, because I think Calyx Shadow Rider, of course, is just really good because it outspeeds my opponent. It's immune to extreme speed. This is going to be like Terra Normal stuff, because I imagine like one of them is going to be extreme speed. Maybe it's both, but we'll see here. Like, what type is it going to be? Tornadus, Chien-Pao lead. Okay, so this is not too bad of a lead here, as I do lead Flutter Mane and Arceus. Okay. So not terrible. This Flutter Mane is bulky, so we should be able to live one attack from Pao. And we can probably just get a Hyper Voice Icy Wind combo off, which I really do like. I don't know if... well, I wouldn't KO Pao. There's not really a reason to taunt here. The problem is if it's Arceus or Rayquaza back. If it's Arceus or Rayquaza back, that would be a bit strange. I can't really Terra here. I could Moonblast Hyper Voice too, and that might be a better idea, actually. I think I do like the Moonblast Hyper Voice. His Taurus not really doing crazy amounts of damage, so it should be fine. I did go for a taunt in the Flutter Mane in case I'm Trick Room, so that's actually excellent. That's excellent. Okay, so I get a Moonblast off into Pao. We get to confirm if you're Sash or not. Gonna be Focus Sash. Okay, that makes sense here. They do get to delay Tailwind a bit, which is a little bit annoying though. Ice Spin are going to come out into the Flutter Mane. That makes a ton of sense. Flutter Mane takes that, and then Hyper Voice, so we'll get the Throat Spray active. And then we can KO the Tornadus the next turn. So this is a pretty good position, I'd say. Yeah, as Arceus will be able to get the Throat Spray. And +1 special attack Arceus is looking pretty solid. Let's see what my opponent does bring out next. Is it going to be their own Arceus? Is it going to be Rayquaza? It's going to be their own Arceus. Okay, and it looks like they're Terra. It looks like they are normal. Yeah, so okay. I do not mind this. I think I am just gonna go for, well, I can't fake Tears or Taunt, which is kind of annoying, but I think I'll go for an Icy Wind, and I'm gonna go for Hyper Voice. Is there a reason to get the speed dropped on Arceus? My Shadow Rider outspeeds, so I guess it's not necessary. Maybe I should just Moonblast for the damage. Yeah, I think I'll just Moonblast and Hyper Voice for the damage. I think it's okay. They go for Tailwind with Torn, which makes sense. What did Arceus go for? I'm curious here because it could be Swords Dance or a bunch of other moves. Earthquake, okay, interesting. The crit on my Arceus is not good because that was pretty weak. It doesn't look like Choice Band damage. Hyper Voice is going to do a ton of damage to them. Does a good amount to Torn. A bit less damage than I would have liked on the Arceus. It is a weird one out here. We're going to go Gastrodon here and see what they bring out. Rayquaza is the back, so that's not like too surprising to me. Okay. So we bring our Gastrodon. Gastrodon should be able to tank moves. I can't really afford to let them set up here, so I think I'd rather just go for an Icy Wind attempt. Or do I Icy Wind or do I just Yawn here? I think I just Yawn, actually. I think I Yawn to Rayquaza and Hyper Voice here. I like that a lot because they can only knock out one of the two. They can't knock out both. There's no Terra still. They just go for a double up here with Dragon Ascent, which is fine. Into Arceus, that's cool. They did take the defense drops, but this is pretty good because unless it's Lumberry Rayquaza, I get the Yawn off into Rayquaza. I double protect so it stays asleep, and then the Tailwind will peer out, and then Arceus, and then my Calyx Shadow Rider should be in a good spot. So, not bad. Not the greatest position still, but not bad. Leftovers is also going to heal the Gastrodon, which is nice. I'm kind of curious on what the Arceus set is because I still don't know. We are going to go out on a Calyx Shadow Rider and click double protect. Yes, I'm just going to double protect here, and then I could go for like Yawn or Icy Wind. I'm not sure which one I'm going to click yet, but I do... I'm just going to click double protect though. It is the safest play. Unless for some reason there's some crazy tech moves, or if it is actually Lum or Chesto Berry on the Rayquaza for some reason, which it shouldn't be. No Terras, which is interesting. Okay. They didn't Terra. No, they didn't Terras before, so I'm kind of curious on what their Terra is. We will go for a double protect. They just keep going for Earthquake, which is interesting because it does like no damage. Okay. It shouldn't be Scarf Arceus. I highly doubt your Scarf Arceus. Is this Swords Dance or Dragon's Ascent? Dragon's Ascent. Okay, perfect. I think at this rate, they're not inclined to Terra their Rayquaza at this point. My best place is Psychic because they're most likely Terra Normal, right? So my best place just is Psychic Icy Wind because that should KO the Rayquaza regardless. And if I KO the Rayquaza, it's a lot easier for me to handle. I think I am just going to go for Psychic into the Rayquaza and Icy Wind. Because it doesn't seem like they're inclined to Terra at this point. Like, they have not been going for the Terra. Okay, now they go for the Terra. Is this Terra Normal Rayquaza finally? Oh, they Terra the Arceus. Okay. Into Terra Normal. I guess that means it's more powerful against my Gastrodon. Does Extreme Speed KO? I don't think so. Unless maybe it's Silk Scarf. Oh, it is Scarf Arceus. It's Scarf Arceus. Okay, good to confirm. Good to confirm. Also, why did they Terra Normal? That makes no sense to Terra Normal in that position. Okay. I guess Psychic off into the Rayquaza. I Oko the Rayquaza was not what I expected. Okay. I guess it was -1 Spadaf. But that's so insane to me. Okay. Hit the Icy. Beautiful. Good. Good, 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 good. I might still actually lose this though, because the Earthquake's actually doing a decent amount of damage. I am going to go for a double protect here to get the leftovers recovery. Again, we know it was Scarf. Wait, did we know it was Scarf? Someone petered out. Let me see. Turn 1. Oh, wait, no. They had an extra turn Tailwind, right? I guess it could maybe not be Scarf. You know what? They're never Swords Dancing the position, so I might as well just scout for it anyway. So let's see. Also, if they Extreme Speed, then my best place to Encore to Arceus into Extreme Speed. It is Earthquake again. Okay. I think Gastrodon lives one. A Psychic probably doesn't knock out Arceus, even at +1, I'd imagine, because Arceus did take the Hyper Voice extremely well. Maybe it's still better to go for the Earth Power, actually, over the Yawn. Nah, actually, no, we still Yawn anyway, and we Psychic, yeah. All right, +1 Psychic. Do we KO Arceus? Okay, we do. All right. Not too bad. Still questionable because, again, this Mon is just so hard to predict, especially in close team sheet best of 1. It's really hard to identify. Like, I think normal Terra normal makes sense. I wasn't exactly sure because it's like they had Rayquaza, so I was like, okay, is this like a partner that's supposed to support the Rayquaza better with like maybe Fairy Terra or something of that nature? Maybe even Steel typing on Arceus. Not even Terra, just literally typing in general with the plates. But worked out pretty well. We were able to, I feel like the lead ended up being really well. The crit was unfortunate with the Earthquake because I ended up taking a lot of damage, but across the board was able to get the important Yawn off. The Icy Wind was actually super clutch on Gastrodon, and yeah, I was able to put in some pretty good work. All right, we have Magearna, Amoonguss, Urshifu, Chienpao, Incineroar, and Arceus. Okay, what? I mean, I'd assume it's Terra Normal if you're pairing with Power, right? Like, I'd imagine it's Terra Normal. If it's Terra Normal, should be interesting. I do like my own Arceus a lot here. And I like Arceus plus... I think I like the Flutter Mane. I think Flutter Mane's really good here. Yeah, I like Flutter Mane a lot. I like Flutter Mane plus Arceus. I like Calyrex in the back. Do I like Cornerstone or do I like Gastrodon more? I think it depends on like how well I play against Urshifu. But I don't mind, I think, having Cornerstone back because of the sturdy, the Ivy Cudgel fast dread, I think is pretty nice. So let's see. I do have to watch about like Urshifu under Trick Room, but otherwise I think like this is a pretty good spot. But I don't even know if they'll be able to get Trick Room up. Are they going to go something passive like Amoonguss? I don't think so. And well, Amoonguss Arceus is fine. I didn't expect the Arceus Magearna for instance, or Magearna plus Amoonguss for instance. Okay. Booster energy activates. Speed booster. Just go for a Hyper Voice immediately, and we're gonna go for a taunt into the... I think we taunt the Amoonguss. Okay. They went for Spore Swords Dance, I'm assuming. No Mental Herb, which is beautiful. My Arceus is faster, which is awesome. All right, Throat Spray active, and they go for a Swords Dance. Yep. As they did go for the Spore. Perfect. Did they go for Pollen Puff now, I guess is the question. I kind of want to just get a Fake Tears into Arceus and a Hyper Voice. I think that's a good spot. I don't know if they could switch into POW, which I'm a little bit concerned about, but I still think that this is the best play no matter what. All right, they actually decide to Terra, so I'm assuming this is Terra Normal, but there's no POW, so I'm curious if this KOs. Yeah, it's Terra Normal. Wait, are they Clear Amulet? Do they run Clear Amulet Arceus? I have no clue. We'll find out. They go for Extreme Speed, which is fine. Into my Arceus. It doesn't KO, like I didn't think so. Oh, it is Clear Amulet. Okay, that makes it weird, but that's fine. Get a Hyper Voice off. Good damage. And they Pollen Puff. Okay, that's fine. How many turns of this is taunted? Oh, it's the last turn of taunt, which is not good. I'm fine with sacking Arceus here because I kind of would prefer to sack Arceus here. I think we just go for a Icy Wind here and get more damage on the Amoonguss. They're going to retreat Amoonguss, so this might be into the Chienpao, which is fine. Yeah, I get an Icy Wind off, which is pretty nice because I break the Sash. It's just shiny Chienpao. Which I prefer the non-shiny. But they go for the Extreme Speed, which is perfect, into my Arceus. That's fine. Okay. I feel like I have a good line here coming up, so I'm okay with this trade. But granted, I do need to hit the Icy into POW specifically. Okay, I do hit the POW. Nice. So I get a bit of damage into the Arceus, but more importantly, now I can bring out my Shadow Rider and I can threaten the Encore into Arceus and I can Moonblast the POW. And because I do this, as long they do have a play that they could go for, but I can't really stop it, which is going for a Moongus switch with POW. And well, I can stop it if I read it, but I don't know. I think it's still always just better to go for a Moonblast into POW and an Encore into Arceus. Okay, yeah, perfect. As they go for Sucker Punch, and this is the ideal position. If they like switch out POW and go into Moongus and protected Arceus to avoid the Encore, then I would have to like read that, go for Taunt, but I get to play it right. So I get the KO into Arceus on the Sucker Punch, which is awesome. And I Encore to Arceus into Extreme Speed, and they're locked into Extreme Speed against my Ghost type. So right now the Arceus can't do anything, which is fantastic. Now I can focus down on the left slot, and yeah, I don't have to worry about the Arceus anymore. So keep going for Extreme Speed, Arceus. Keep going for Extreme Speed. We see the Magearna now, which is fine. We're going to go for Astral Barrage, and we're going to go for a Taunt into the Magearna. Or should we Fake Tears? Because we already revealed that we had Taunt, right? We definitely don't KO Magearna. I feel like Taunt is so obvious that I'd rather just Fake Tears in Astral. The only problem is that they Trick Room and switch to a Moongus, but I feel like it's way more likely that they're just going to go for a... I think it's way more likely that they go for a attack here. So I do get a Fake Tears off, which is incredible. And Astral Barrage should do a ton of damage. It's probably not going to KO Magearna because Magearna is just so bulky. Yeah, it actually barely hangs on. It's a Flash Cannon off. Does this KO Flutter? Yeah, Flutter is really bulky. Okay, so now I have a pretty much a game-winning position here. Because now I can go for a Astral and I can go for a Moonblast. Or I could Taunt. There's like a bunch of plays that I can make here. I kind of like the idea of just Psychicking though. I kind of like the idea of Psychic the Amoonguss and Moonblast the Magearna. There's no way you Rage Powder in this spot. Yeah, they go for Protect. This might be Protect Sack here, which is actually perfect. Yeah, this is super ideal. Because I do get the KO onto a Moongus, which is beautiful. Like, you might be thinking, why didn't I Astral Barrage? It's like, I was thinking of maybe they would Protect, switch to Arceus. Because I thought that was like their only hope of maneuvering this spot. Now I think they just guaranteed lose this maneuver. I mean, Magearna gets a special attack boost, but it doesn't really matter, right? Because I just KO'd a Magearna the next turn, and I just draw off a Psychic into Arceus, and like, what can they do here? I don't think Arceus gets any priority, I suppose, that I have to worry about. I think I just doubled Magearna. Even if they get a double protect, it's not even that bad for me. Yeah, I'm just gonna Moonblast Psychic. I don't remember if Arceus has anything that I really have to worry about priority wise. Because it's Swords Dance Extreme Speed. Do I really think so? Maybe I should have just Psychicked, because I don't remember Arceus's entire moveset kit, because it gets so many different moves. But that ends up working out well. Luckily, they didn't get the double protect. Even if they got the double protect, I still think it's fine. I still get a +1 Psychic off in Arceus, and I still have Cornerstone back. And because I have Sash on the Calyx Shadow Rider, it's just so hard for them to deal with these double Ghost types. So now I can just go for a Moonblast very safely, plus a Psychic, and I guarantee to win here. So, nice. Could have been scary. Arceus is always scary, but thankfully, it didn't get out of hand. And that's kind of thing is guessing the Arceus set and it getting out of hand. Luckily, my calcs were correct on the Extreme Speed, and they didn't switch to POW that one turn. If they switched to POW, I think it would have been a different story. But then again, Pollen Puff healing was definitely something that they also wanted, so it was kind of a weird balance. But luckily I got him on the turn where I was able to Encore and make the Arceus useless, which made it a big deal because I was able to get such a swing and momentum. Arceus, Zamazenta, Chien-Pao, Fluttermane, Raging Bolt, and Amoonguss. This should be normal Terra on the Arceus. Okay, double Fighting Weak. I don't have a Fighting type though, unfortunately. I mean, I do have an Urshifu, but this should definitely be Speed Booster Fluttermane. They have a Raging Bolt and an Amoonguss, so it's going to be hard for my Urshifu to actually do anything in this match. What can I go here? I like the idea. Should I just lead Flutter? I could see them leading POW Zama or POW Arceus. Both are pretty reasonable here. Flutter's just really annoying to deal with for this team. Trying to think about like a Super Saiyan angle that I have here. It's probably like Flutter main Arceus, but that's weak to Zama lead with Pow. Oh, there's not really a good mid ground here. Yeah, there's not like an amazing mid ground. I think I'm just going to lead it though, and I'm going to commit to Terra on Arceus. I don't need to Terra on Calyx Shadow Rider at all in this game. Then do I bring Ursh or do I bring Gastro? Probably Ursh. I could bring Cornerstone too. I think I'm going to bring Ursh though. Let's see if this is correct or not, because I could definitely see this being wrong. I think my Arceus is going to have to hard carry against the Raging Bolt and the Zamazenta, because those are Pokemon I'm going to have struggles to beat, but we'll see here. A Raging Bolt Flutter main. So this is a pretty okay lead for me, actually, as I lead Arceus plus the Flutter main on my side. I definitely live a Shadow Ball from the Flutter main. Let's see if they're Speed Booster, which they should be, I think, on this team for sure. Do I go for the Terra Ground immediately and just go for the Earth Power, I guess is the question, or do I want to draw off a Shadow Ball, Moonblast, and the Flutter? Because Flutter main is actually really annoying. I could also just protect Icy Wind as well, because I don't know what the Flutter main wants to do. It could go for like a lot of different tricks, right? Like this is good. This is a ladder special format. Could be a Trick Room set, even could be a lot of things. I think I'm just gonna go for Icy Wind and protect turn one. Do I think they're gonna Thunderclap Shadow Ball? I think it's unlikely. Yes, I'm gonna Icy Wind and protect. Because if they have to respect Arceus, right? Like you always have to respect Arceus. If they respect the Arceus here, it ends up being good for me. Okay, they go for Shadow Ball, which is fine because I lived the Shadow Ball. Yep, with ease. Again, Icy Wind off, so now I have a speed advantage against their Flutter main with my Calyx, which is good. I also get a crit on the Raging Bolt, which is actually fantastic. All right. You go for a T-Bolt into Arceus. Okay, beautiful. Now I'm going to go for a Taunt into the Flutter main, and I'm going to go for a... Do I want an Earth Power or do I want a Shadow Ball here? I think I might as well just keep my normal typing at this point. I could take less damage with the Terra Ground, but always saving that Terra as a surprise factor is a pretty big deal. I think I'm going to Shadow Ball to Flutter, because they might like Thunderclap the Flutter main on my side, and they might try to do something with their Flutter, so I think it's just better to go for Shadow Ball. Nice. They did go for the Thunderclap. Beautiful. We did go for the Taunt. I can also fake Tears plus a Earth Power the next turn into the Raging Bolt. Oh, they went for Icy Wind. A dodge from the Arceus, which is very pleasant, actually. Okay, we definitely... Oh, no, it's a dodge on the Flutter. Okay. As we get a Shadow Ball. Or a dodge on the Arceus. Shadow Ball does some good damage. Yeah, I don't mind the spot, though. I'm going to Fake Tears and Earth Power the Raging Bolt now. Because if we get a Raging Bolt, I don't have to worry about a Thunderclap breaking my Sash, which I definitely do appreciate. And they have to Shadow Ball my Flutter. They could go for like the T-Bolt Shadow Ball play, which is fine. I don't know which one they'll go for, but they go for Thunderclap into my Arceus. That does a lot of damage. Okay, it's Life Orb, yeah. A Shadow Ball, which is fine. Okay. As I do get an Earth Power off. This should do some good damage. I don't think this KOs though. Oh wow, never mind. Arceus is strong. Okay, that's a good knockout. That is a good knockout. Okay, I don't mind that. I'm gonna go out into my Calyx here for sure. I need to put on the offensive pressure against Flutter. Now that it's -1 speed, my Shadow Rider outspeeds it, even with booster energy. So now I can threaten the Flutter main as they bring out their Arceus. Okay. Ooh, if they Sword Stance, it's a bit scary, but I think I should be fine. No, this is fine, actually, yeah. I go for... There's a lot of places I could go for. I think I just go for an Astral, and I think I just go for a... Or not Astral, I think I Psychic the Flutter. I think they're Terra normal potentially. They could go to PAL too. Oh man, there's so many different mind games. I think I'm just gonna Hyper Voice and I'm gonna Astral because it covers switch-ins as well. Okay, they stay in, which is beautiful. I do get the Astral Barrage KO and a Flutter Mane. That's awesome for me. I'm curious on what the last Pokemon is. If it's Zamazenta, I feel pretty good about my spot, but we'll see. If it's Chien-Pao, it's gonna be a bit of a mind game. I'm -1 speed on my Arceus, so Flare Blitz. That's not band damage. What are you? Is that band damage? I don't think it is. Hyper Voice. Good damage. Okay. Get the Throat Spray active. Sure. I'll take it. It is Zamazenta back, so I feel pretty good about this because I do have my Ursh in the back with Terra Ghost. I think what I do here, I just sack to bring Ursh, right? I'm pretty sure that's always the play. Yeah, that's always the play. I just protect here. I just draw off the Earth Power into Flare Blitz still. Like, that's such a weird move to have here. I think I'm just gonna go for an Earth Power. No, I go for Hyper Voice. Yeah, go for Hyper Voice. There's no way you wide guard in this situation. Wide guard makes no sense in this situation. Okay, we see a Terastization, which is really good for me because I get to confirm like what moves are being locked in here. Zamazenta Terras. Okay, so it can't be the Arceus. They go for Terra Dragon. So this is perfect here. They saw that at Earth Power, so I guess they want to go for the Terra Dragon. This works out really well for me. I protect the Shadow Rider. Even if they get the KO into Arceus before I attack, it's fine as long as Arceus is in Trick Room for some reason. They Flare Blitz, which is fine. And this is Body Press into my Arceus. Oh, Heavy Slam. Beautiful. That's beautiful because I do get the Hyper Voice off. Ooh, I don't KO to Arceus, but that's fine. Terra Ghost Ursh still wins in the back. Yeah, Terra Ghost Ursh still wins in the back. I just fire off a Psychic into the Zamazenta, I think. Yeah, if I get the damage in Zamazenta, I just win. And if they protect Zamazenta, then my best play is just to Earth Power to Arceus. Yeah, that's correct. They go for a Wide Guard because they want to dodge the Hyper Voice. Yep, so I get a Psychic off, which is awesome. And no matter what this Arceus does, I should guarantee to win. I missed the knockout, which is fine. They go for Flare Blitz. Recoil. Is that actually Bandit Arceus? I think it has to be then. Because I know it doesn't have to play, so it's not like a same type attack bonus, and Arceus only has 120 attack, which I say only, but I mean in compare to like a lot of the other restricteds, yeah, it's a weak Flare Blitz. I get the Earth Power. Goodbye Zamazenta, and yeah, we win the game. Like, I had an Ursh in the back with Terra Ghost. I think that also sealed the matchup once I saw the Terra, because I think it just depended on it if the Arceus had Terra Ghost, because I was going to lock in a close combat Terra Ghost my Ursh and try to win that way, but looks like I didn't need it, so very much appreciated. But I think I just kept up the offensive pressure. I got the mind games right, was able to get rid of everything that was annoying to my Ursh, and then like the back was weak to Ursh. Koraidon, Lunala, Chi-Yu, Fluttermane, Ursaluna, and Brubana. I mean, this is a VGC Reg I team, but it is still super threatening. I gotta respect it. Because this team doesn't exactly have the best switch into Chi-Yu here. So something I'm going to have to keep a note. I think lead-wise, I'm going to go with Fluttermane Cornerstone, because I think Fluttermane Cornerstone is really good against this team. And then I think we do Calyx Shadow Rider plus the Arceus, because if they lead Fluttermane plus Chi-Yu, they don't have the Sun, so the Fluttermane doesn't have the speed booster. So that's nice. The only problem is the Koraidon on their side is we're going to play a 50-50 potentially on the mind game. I do think we probably play a 50-50 on the mind game if they lead Fluttermane Koraidon, which if they lead it, I mean they lead it, but they lead Fluttermane Chi-Yu, I'm in a great spot. So let's see. If they lead Koraidon plus the Chi-Yu, I'm also still in a good spot. Yeah, like this is a pretty good lead for me. Okay, perfect. So I have a few different plays. I think my best play is just to go for a double protect. The only way they punish that is like they're crazy. They self flame charge to Chi-Yu. And I just don't think they're making that play turn 1. So I'm going to scout for if... Oh, wait, I can't double protect. Shoot, I have to commit. I do have to commit. Okay. I think in that case, I'm just going to Icy Wind. And I'm just going to Ivy Cudgel the... I really want to Ivy Cudgel the Koraidon really badly. You know what? Yeah, I'm just going to Icy Wind Ivy Cudgel the Koraidon. I think Icy Wind plus Ivy Cudgel to Chi-Yu is so obvious. So, okay, they protect. But I think this should still be fine. I wish I did Ivy Cudgel to Chi-Yu because they gave me a potential free knockout and momentum. But it was just like a desperation of like, okay, who is the target? And I have to get this right. And they did get it right. So, Icy Wind speed drop onto Chi-Yu. We Ivy Cudgel into the Koraidon as they go for... What with the Chi-Yu Heat Wave? This shouldn't knock out, especially if I dodge, so that's appreciated. But that's Cornerstone. I should live with Flutter though. Yeah. Okay, I could do the same play again, or I just Moonblast this time. I think I'm just gonna Moonblast this time and Ivy Cudgel. Because if they read that, they might not go for the Terrifier. If they go for Terrifier, I mean, I still have my Sturdy on Cornerstone, so it's not like that bad. My Flutter is also out of Icy Wind range, so I can definitely play out of it. They have to get this turn right too. They have to Terrifier the Koraidon this time. But they don't. So I get a Moonblast off, KO the Koraidon because they were scared I'd make the same play again. And now I get the Ivy Cudgel off and the Chi-Yu and take the knockout. So beautiful. Alright, goodbye Chi-Yu. And we're up 4-2. Koraidon's gone, which was one of their best answers to my Arceus without Terra. So right now... I'm in a great spot. I'm in a commanding spot. Let's see who they decide to bring out next. Fluttermane and Lunala. Okay. Granted, I could still very easily lose this game. But we'll see. They have double Ghost here. I'm just going to go for an Icy Wind here. Actually, should I go for Icy Wind? Now I do Icy Wind here. And Spiky Shield. Yeah. Icy Wind, Spiky Shield works here. Because then I could bring in like Arceus or Calyx Shadow Rider for free. Even if they Moonblast a Flutter, that's fine. Did they Trick Room or did they just draw out the Meteor Beam or did they Moongeist Beam? Because if they Meteor Beam, they can't hit my Arceus. Unless they Meteor Beam again. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, they can't hit my Arceus, which is nice. This was third turn of Sun. Next turn's fourth turn. Okay, yeah, I feel like I'm really good here. So I'm going to go out into my Arceus. And I'm just going to throw off Shadow Ball. And I think I just drew off an Ivy Cudgel into the Fluttermane as well. I don't really see a problem with that. They're probably going to go for Icy Wind plus a... I imagine this is like Icy Wind plus Moongeist into the Cornerstone. They could protect too. If they make a protect Moongeist play, that's good. But even then, like, I'm still think I'm in a good spot. They Moonblast my Arceus. It actually does a lot of damage. They get a special attack drop, which is unfortunate, but because they didn't Icy Wind, I get the Ivy Cudgel plus Shadow Ball KO into the Flutter. This only was like, well, actually no, yeah. If they Icy Wind, I still would have gotten a good Shadow Ball off regardless. So I do KO the Flutter. They do have Terrassization on the Lunala, but at this point, like, I don't think that's nearly enough. They also didn't break my Sturdy on the... Oh wait, no, because Moongeist Beam will KO me because it does ignore the Sturdy properties. Oh, that didn't even KO +1? I'm kind of shocked that didn't KO +1 because Moongeist Beam does ignore abilities, which I did forget about in the moment, but I really thought that would have KO'd. I guess I'm fine anyway. What Terra was this? This was Terra Water. Yeah, it's Terra Water, so... I mean, I just Shadow Ball and I just go for... Spiky Shield. It doesn't really matter because their only moves are Moongeist Beam, Meteor Beam. with Wide Guard Trick Room, they can't do anything to my Arceus, because if they Meteor Beam, I just protect on the turn that they actually go for the attack, because they have to charge up because they used their power up earlier. So yeah, was fine. The Heat Wave miss was a bit unfortunate turn 1, but I mean, that's the nature of running like the Heat Wave Chi-Yu, like really strong stuff with the Flutter, Icy Wind, and a bunch of others. So was able to put on the pressure, and yeah, was just able to capitalize. Even though turn 1 didn't work out, I got an amazing turn 2. All right, Calyx, Shadow, Smeargle, Kyogre, Urshifu, Indeedee, and Torn. Okay. Gastrodon, unironically pretty good here. Unironically pretty good here. I think I'm fine with leading Shadow Rider plus... I don't know if I want to lead Flutter. I'd probably want Flutter in the back. I can see myself leading Torn. Well, let me see. What would I really value in this matchup? Shadow Rider for sure, because Astral Barrage is pretty threatening. I do want Arceus. I don't have an Expanding Force switching though, which is a big problem. I don't have the best Expanding Force switch. I mean, I do have Terra Dark on Shadow Rider, so I guess I could rely on that if necessary. I think I'm just gonna lead both the Restrict and Mythical here, which should be fine. And then have Flutter in the back to pressure their Shadow Rider, as well as Gastrodon, because Gastrodon's unironically really good in this. A Cornerstone was also pretty good because it just threatened a Torn immediately, which was actually pretty huge, but I don't think it's necessary, because I don't even know if they lead Torn in this, because it's kind of weird. If they bring Torn, we'll see. Torn Ogre immediately, okay. Versus Shadow Rider and Arceus. Not the greatest, but it's all right. They might be worried about like Terra Normal Extreme Speed. There's like so many things that could happen with Arceus around. I think my best play is just to Astral Barrage, go to Gastrodon. I'm gonna Astral Barrage and just go Gastrodon immediately. I don't know if they're gonna Bleak Wind immediately or not though. That's the big question. I feel like you always Tailwind Origin Pulse. You might not even Spout just because of the fact that I could just Extreme Speed you. This could also be an Indeedee switch from the Torn. But yeah, we go Gastrodon, which is super safe here. They do go for Tailwind, so I could have Encore, but it could also be Mental Herb because they did run Mental Herb Torn on some of these teams. They do just fire off the Origin Pulse because they were worried about the Extreme Speed. I get the boost with Gastro, and Calyx is going to have his Sash broken, but that's fine as we get an Astral Barrage off, and that's a pretty nice Astral. Oh, it's Salt Vest on the Kyogre. Okay, interesting to note. This should never be Terra Grass, Terra Blast. They don't run that. This is probably Bleak Wind and Ice Beam. I do want to protect Calyx and just yawn the Kyogre. The Kyogre switches, that's fine too, because that means they didn't get damage. Okay. But what's coming in? Shadow Rider? Yeah, their own Shadow Rider. They probably Bleak Wind to cover, which makes sense. But yeah, that works out pretty well for me, as I do get a Protect off. I'm feeling pretty decent about this spot. They did go for the Bleak Wind. Yep, that makes sense. Gastrodon eats that up, and I do get a yawn off. Okay. So I don't know if the Calyx would exactly want to stay in. I think my best play is just to go out into... Unless they have Indeedee back and they go for Expanding Force, which is ugly. I think my best play is just to go Arceus because it's a decent mid-ground and probably just draw off an Icy Wind. Or I could Protect too. That also works. But I think Icy Wind is better. Because I don't know if it knocks out the Torn, but if it does, that's a great spot since I denied them a future of getting another Tailwind up. Bring back the Kyogre. Oh, Indeedee does reveal itself here. Okay, that's fine. I actually like this position because if I get the Icy Wind off, then I could do like some other game plans that I can keep in mind. So we do get the Arceus in as a Bleak Wind. Does some pretty solid damage. Speed drop on Arceus is not great because I would have outspent the Kyogre. Icy Wind is going to come out. I don't KO the Torn, which is fine. It is probably Mental Herb, or yeah, it might be Mental Herb because It's not Covert Cloak. I don't think that's Sharp Beak damage. Okay. I think I just draw off a Hyper Voice, and I think I just go for a Earth Power. Yeah, I think I just draw off an Earth Power into the Entity. Yeah. Because I need to damage an Entity. They go for Taunt, but... sure, Psychic Terrain. They forgot about that. They go for Psychic? Oh, they had Psychic. That does a lot. Bleakman might have KO'd, so that was a bit risky on my part. Okay, that works out really well for me. I get an Earth Power off. Usually I'm used to seeing the Entity run like a fairy move here. Alright, get the Throat Spray active, and we get an Earth Power. I barely missed a knock on Entity, which is a bit unfortunate, but this is still overall okay. Do I want to sack a Gastro, or do I want to... I don't think I ever sack Gastro. Shadow Rider comes in. What Shadow Rider are you? Rain's about to stop. Psychic Terrain is still active. Is this Helping Hand E-Force? It's probably Helping Hand E-Force. I need to Terra my Shadow Rider. This is super tricky. I think it's very winnable, but super tricky. So I have to let both Pokemon go down. It might be the case. I think I double protect to Scout and stall out a turn of Psychic Terrain. They go for Protect. This has to be E-Force. I think I have to predict whether the Shadow Rider is Terra Dark, or I have to predict if it's like Terra Ghost or something. They do Expanding Force. I sack both of these Pokemon. I would like Gastrodon for the Kyogre endgame, but I don't think it's viable here. Rain stops. I also need to get the call right on the Shadow Rider. We go for a Shadow Ball into the Shadow Rider, and we go for Icy Wind. We go for Helping Hand. This is Helping Hand E-Force. I feel like if it's Life Orb or Specs, we confirm it for sure. Okay, that did a lot. So I think this is either Life Orb or Specs. Of course, it could just be Expanding Force since I get Terrain with how absurd it is with Helping Hand, but let's see. Do we see Life Orb or anything? No, okay. It could also just be Sash, and if it's Sash, I usually run Terra Ghost, which would be the ideal case. I do bring out my Shadow Rider, I do bring out my Flutter Mane, I do go for Icy Wind Astral in this position, and hopefully I get the KO here. They do have a counterplay if this is like Spec Shadow Rider or something, which their best play is just to swap out the Shadow Rider and the Kyogre because I can't punish it. But either way, I gotta go for Astral Barrage and Icy Wind. Because I need Icy Wind to KO the Entity. I need the speed drop under Shadow Rider and to break the Sash. Okay, wait, there's no Terra. That's huge. I get the Icy Wind off. Perfect. I KO the Entity. Shadow Rider Sash is broken. It's speed falls, so I guarantee outspeed with my Shadow Rider. And Ash Barrage will KO their Shadow Rider. Beautiful. Okay. That was exactly what I needed. If they went Kyogre, it would have taken a single target Astral Barrage, but like we saw how much Astral Barrage did the first turn. Like it just didn't do any damage. We should know it's not Scarf Kyogre based on how much Astral Barrage did. I think Flutter Mane can definitely live an attack from the Kyogre, and they have to go for Origin Pulse, right? So I think my best play here is just to click Protect and Fake Tears, and then Fake Tears Astral Barrage the Kyogre. Because there's no way you click Water Spout in this position. I might even live Water Spout with my Flutter Mane, but yeah, we go for Fake Tears into the Kyogre, Protect, and then we go for another Fake Tears, and then we should easily KO, because that's +1 Shadow Rider into -4 Kyogre. Now, I know Kyogre is good Spadef, but I don't think it's that good, especially when the Kyogre is chipped. They go for the Origin Pulse, and I should easily live this with Flutter Mane. Yep, perfect. Now we go for Astral Barrage, single target, and we go for another Fake Tears. Battle gonna be forfeited. Whew, Fake Tears Fluttermane putting in work there. Putting in work and getting us to the Master Ball tier, which is great because I did try one game with this team to get used to Arceus, and then let's just say that didn't go well. And that is Master Ball tier. All right, awesome. I had a rough first game, let me just say. Got crit immediately by by Yvesangelist, but you know what? Master Ball tier, I will take. I will take it. Undefeated so far here, with other than the first game, which they don't even get me started. Beautiful. What is this team? Skeledirge, Pelipper, Qianpao, Rillaboom, Arceus, Zama. Is Skeledirge meta because you wall the Arceus Swords Dance sets? It's good in a Zama. Wait, maybe Skeledirge is cooking. Maybe Skeledirge is cooking. Are they beating Shadow Rider? We'll figure that out, but we'll see. What am I leading here? Am I leading Ursh? They don't have a good Ursh Spring. I think I'm just gonna go with Ursh plus Shadow Rider immediately. Yeah, I like Ursh Shadow Rider immediately. Do I bring Cornerstone? Cornerstone's good. I could bring Gastrodon. It's not bad, but it's not necessary. I think I definitely bring Arceus. It's Flutter or Cornerstone. Both are pretty good here. I want to say it's Flutter that's better, but we'll see. I think Flutter is just better because the Icy Wind speed control is pretty nice to have, as well as another extreme speed immunity if I have to go for it. So I think that's pretty good. Lead wise, it's Rillaboom, Zamazenta. Okay, this is pretty... I'd say this is pretty solid for me. Okay. What's my Terra plan? Well, I don't want to Terra to Ursh turn 1. I do have Terra. If Terra goes Terra Blast, which is funny, but I won't need it in this game. I think the best play is just to U-turn the Rillaboom. It's just to U-turn Astral Barrage. I think it might be. I kind of like U-turn Astral. Let's see. I think they might just Wood Hammer immediately. Oh, I got a huge amount of damage into the Rilla. Is that like no bulk Rilla? I don't need Arceus too much in this game. Or do I go Flutter? I guess Flutter's not necessary when I think about it. Yeah, I think I sack Flutter. Because this could be Body Press into the Ursh and a Wood Hammer into Calyrex, but I'm fine with any way. This could also just be double up into Calyrex, which I'm also fine with. But also, let's just see if Astral Barrage KOs. If it is Assault Vest, I don't, but that didn't take the U-turn well. It didn't take the U-turn well. Is that Miracle Seed Rilla? It might be. I KO'd a Rilla, which is incredible for me. And what did he do with Zama? Heavy Slam? No, they body pressed. Yeah, okay, so I didn't switch out into Arceus. That was an amazing turn. That was like the best turn I could have asked for. I didn't think they would fake out immediately. It works out pretty well. Like, I thought they were going to Wood Hammer, but I didn't expect the Rilla to go down there. We're going to see the Arceus come in. Okay, perfect. I'm just going to taunt and I'm going to Encore. Yeah. Because if they're locked in the body press, they can't do anything here. I taunt the Arceus. So it can't Swords Dance up. I get a free Encore, so they can't Heavy Slam now. So only Arceus can attack right now. Body Press into the Shadow Rider. Yep, perfect. Liquidation. What? That's a 2-shot? Oh, it's Life Orb. Okay, that's why. Sure. I think my play is just to always Moonblast and Astral Barrage here. Or I could Fake Tear Psychic. Both work. I think it's just Moonblast Astral Barrage because it covers the Chien-Pao coming in, which means Arceus probably doesn't knock out Calyrex. Because if it's Liquidation, they're probably just going to go for Liquidation again. I either get the KO into Zamazenta with the Astral Barrage plus Moonblast double up, or I KO the Chien-Pao to switch, and then they won't have Sword of Ruin. Yeah, perfect. They also wanted the defense boost on the Zama, so this is looking really nice. And now I can Terra Ghost my Ursh very safely for the win. So I'm very much liking this spot. Oh, they go for Terra, which is surprising. Are they Terra Water? It is Terra Water. Okay. I mean, I think I win anyway at this point. They do KO my Shadow Rider in response, but I KO'd their Chien-Pao, which is amazing. I get good damage to Arceus as well, which is very much appreciated. And then my own Arceus, I guess, is still in a weird spot, but I mean, I guess I don't guarantee win. I get good damage to Arceus though. That is huge damage. I crit the Pao, but that wasn't a crit on Arceus, so it didn't matter. Okay. Liquidation into the Calyrex should always be your play here. Yep. So Calyrex goes down, and then I just have to KO the Arceus. Yeah, I just go for the Arceus. I'm pretty sure... Does it live Moonblast at that range? I want to say no, since it's Life Orb. But yeah, we go out into Ursh. I don't want to seal up the game guaranteed. I guess I don't have to Terra Arceus for the win. I just have to Moon... Since the Arceus is locked or can't protect, I get a Moonblast for free into Arceus, and I go for a U-turn into Arceus as well. Yeah. Battle gonna be forfeit. I mean, there are like multiple ways I could have won the game, right? I could just close combat the Arceus, take the KO, then bring out my own Arceus, go for Terra Ground Earth Power, KO the Zamazenta, and win the game that way, since it was already chipped pretty much, and I would be able to get pretty free damage since Zamazenta can only go for single target moves. I think it just heck worked out. Like, that's that combo with the pressure that I just had, with the, again, just being able to get some really good damage, like getting the KO on Rillaboom, which is just not what I expected turn one, and then turn two, the fact that I was just able to Encore Trap the Body Press and not take much at all, like, it just worked out fantastically. And then turn three, I KO'd the Chien-Pao, which is amazing, because that was the only answer for like Terra Ghost Ursh, which was perfect. Wasn't expecting Terra Water on the Arceus there, but sure, cool team. All right, we have Magearna, Tornadus, Calyrex, Shadow Rider, Farigiraf, Cornerstone, Ogerpon, and Urshifu. So really offensive team that has both Magearna and Calyrex Shadow. It reminds me of like it could be a Zacian. Like it's like a Zacian team with a Magearna attached, which is kind of funny. All right. I don't want to go against this team. Arceus for sure. Arceus is pretty dang good against this team. I will just say it's pretty dang good against the team. So I do like Arceus. I think Arceus Shadow Rider is pretty fair here because they don't have a great way of breaking through it immediately. I like Gastrodon back because they have a tough time of breaking through Gastrodon with the Ursh, and then I think it's the Flutter Mane. Cornerstone's okay, but it's not necessary. Ursh is decent, but it's not necessary either. I like these four a lot. All right, let's see how this is going to go. I got to watch out for Magearna snowballing. I also don't know if there is a Trick Room route. Also, a Helping Hand with the Farigiraf next to Magearna with the Armor Tail actually sounds pretty scary. So something I'm kind of curious if it will be in play here. But Shadow Rider Ursh versus the Ursh, or versus my Shadow Rider and Arceus. This is such a weird combo. My Shadow Rider is at least a speed tie here. We don't know about the Ursh. I wish I let Flutter here. I guess I'm just gonna go Gastro, and I'm gonna click Astral Barrage. This is such a weird one because I could just instant lose the game on turn one. I think that's the best play though. Like, what else am I supposed to do? I can't really Terra Ground because I'm gonna get blown up by Close Combat Astral. I think we just go Gastrodon and we just click Astral. I think the only thing that's scary is if this is Scarf Urshifu that clicks U-turn immediately, which it could, so we'll find out. Bring out the Gastro. No, it is unlucky. Again, I didn't know if it was Scarf or not. Scarf makes sense though on this team. I was hoping it was like Banded though, or maybe Mystic Water. Bring in Magearna. Why? Why? Did they read a Terra? They read a Terra for sure, but what Terra? What? Oh, they were specs. They were specs and praying that I was Terra normal. That's why. Well, unfortunately, we boosted the Magearna, which is weird. But we'll take. Okay. You go Ursh. You're gonna U-turn again? Which is fine. Just gonna throw off my Earth Power into Magearna. And I swap to Flutter, I think. Well, how much does the U-turn do? The U-turn definitely KO'd me at the range I'm at. Kind of curious what their last mon is. I feel like it's better just to go Flutter on the U-turn. They always U-turn here. Unless they close combat my Gastro, but that's fine if they do that. Because they had to double up Gastro to take the knockout. So I'll go out into Flutter. Get the booster energy for speed. And Magearna Terras, I'm assuming? No, it doesn't. So U-turn couldn't come out. Is it Flare Cannon? Does Flare Cannon KO Gastro +1? It's a really strong attack, but I don't know. It did U-turn like I expected into Farig? Cornerstone, okay. 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 Definitely not in my expectations here. Grass Knot. What am I doing? Am I going Shadow Rider? Or am I going... I could go Shadow Rider and just Moonblast Astral. Are they Trick Rooming? Well, if they Trick Room, I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm just going to go out into my Calyx. I feel like the Moonblast is so obvious. I just don't know if Fake Tears is the play, but I feel like you never risk it and just follow me anyway, right? I think I'm just going to Astral and Moonblast. The question is, do I Terra normal? Because I should live a Flash Cannon, I think, from the Magearna if I Terra. Actually, I can't remember. I feel like I should. I think it's just better than Moonblast and Astral. Unless they go for the hard read and want a Spiky Shield with the Cornerstone, which is definitely an option that they have, because they could hard Spiky Shield, thinking, oh, Magearna lives any combo from the Flutter Mane plus Calyx Shadow Rider. Let me Spiky Shield and Trick Room, which I'd be surprised if they do, but it is a play. Okay, they don't. They didn't follow me, though, which I'm surprised by. So I get the KO out into the Cornerstone, which is nice. And I get good damage to Magearna, so Magearna goes down. Or not, Magearna goes down. Cornerstone goes down. Magearna gets a boost. I get a... Oh, wait, they get +3 now. Oh, but they target the Shadow Rider. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. I think Arceus definitely lives a close combat. Dude, it has to be a Solvus Magearna, right? Like, I'm pretty confident it's a Solvus Magearna by the way they're playing. I'm going to Earth Power and I'm going to Fake Tears to Magearna. They're going to Terra to Ursh, right? I think they always Terra to Ursh. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure based on the damage, I'm pretty sure that it is a Assault Magearna. They do go for the Terra of Ursh into Terra Water to avoid the Moonblast KO, which makes sense. That's why I went for the fake Tears and Earth Power here. Because I need to KO the Magearna guaranteed with this Earth Power. And then they close combat lock. Perfect. So they close combat lock my Flutter Mane, and that's what I fought, because now Earth Power KOs Magearna. I think I live a close combat from Urshifu with Arceus. Arceus just has crazy stats, and this one's bulky. Then I should be able to Hyper Voice, single target. Please tell me that just KOs the Ursh. Like, please tell me that just KOs Ursh. Earth Power KOs the Magearna. They're -2 Spadef Ursh, and this is single target Hyper Voice from a legend. Let's see. We're gonna find out. It should have no bulk on the Ursh, probably. Close combat. We take it. Okay. Big question. Do we KO? Okay. I was really worried for a second. I was really worried. But we are able to KO the Urshifu and seal up the win. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I mean, this format does require probably a lot of hard reads, especially with like Arceus and stuff. They hard read me being Terra Normal Calyrex, which is insane, and went for the Expanding Force because they're specs Calyrex. And if I'm Terra Normal or Terra Dark, well, here's the thing: you cover Terra Dark with Astral U-turn, you hard read the Terra Normal, and it just did not work out for them. It did not work out. If they clicked Astral, I was in such a bad spot. But then again, they also won a speed tie. If I won the speed tie, it's so much of a different game. So, I mean, they're the ones who got to play wrong at the end of the day. Like, at worst, my going was I have a 50% chance to just win here. All right, let's go over the games. In game one, pretty solid that Arceus was able to just go for the Hyper Voice immediately. I did actually miscount the tail and turn, so it might not have been Scarf Arceus, but I'm kind of curious on what the Arceus set was, because I still don't think it's banded, or at least I really can't tell based on the damage. However, really all I was able to do was just get that Yawn off into the Rayquaza. The Psychic was pretty huge, taking the knockout, and then was having enough HP remaining to take down the Arceus in the end. In game two, okay, that Arceus was scary, but thankfully I caught them and was able to get an Encore off and lock them into extreme speed against my ghost types. That made the matchup so much easier as I was able to maneuver perfectly. In game three, I was able to get some really good damage on the lead that dealt with the Urshifu, and once I was able to eliminate the Flutter Mane and the Raging Bolt, yeah, even though I still didn't need Urshifu in the battle, apparently, like, it still was pretty much set up for a clean endgame, and that's all I was really playing towards. In game four, World Champions Regulation I team had a bad start with the turn one. Unfortunately, didn't get the call right, but thankfully the turn two worked out amazingly, and I was just able to capitalize because my Arceus was in a really strong position in the end game, especially with my Focus Sash Shadow Rider still intact. In game five, it was a very spooky matchup, but played to my best outs, setting up my Calyrex Shower next to the Flutter Mane after Tailwind expired, and was able to get a really good position with the Icy Wind plus the Astral Barrage, and then get that good fake Tears combination into their Kyogre. I think it was just really tough to break through the Kyogre, especially since I didn't opt to bring any of my physical attackers in Urshifu and Ogerpon, so it was just going to be really difficult, but they also had a lot of tools that were just able to outspeed and pressure Urshifu Ogerpon, so I think I brought what I needed to do, was able to make the right commitments, and was able to squeak out the win. In game 6, did not expect to knock out the Rillaboom on turn 1, but it worked out amazingly for me. Then turn 2, was able to get a very huge Encore into the Zamazenta, locking into Body Press against the Ghost types. Turn 3, forced the switch, catch the Chien-Pao, and knock it out, which meant that Terra Ghost Urshifu had an amazing time in the back, and yeah, it was pretty much set. In game 7, man, this was such a weird team because it was Specs, Calyrex, Shadow Rider. They made for a hard aggressive reading my Terra Normal on the Calyrex Shadow Rider, which I didn't have Terra Normal, so it worked out beautiful for me. They also won the speed tie. It could have gone a few different ways, but yeah, Scarf Urshifu was definitely scary, but the fact that they were Specs, luckily didn't go for Astral Barrage, which was thankful again. Because we did lose the speed tie there, we were able to thankfully take the knockout into their Shadow Rider without too much issues. However, that Magearna was Grass Knot. I don't know why it was Grass Knot Assault Magearna, but yeah, it was Assault Grass Knot Magearna that knocked out my Gastrodon. surprising. I felt like I played a pretty good endgame though, because I did have a position to deal with the Urshifu. My head calcs were on point, was able to knock out the Magearna, and then finish off the Urshifu after it lowered its defenses thanks to the close combat drops. Well, that's a way to start off Regulation J, and let me just say, I mean, my first game, I immediately got crit by Calyx Shadow Rider and lost the game, so I'm glad the rest of the games ended up working out pretty well, and Arceus was able to put in a solid amount of work, but this Pokemon is just so unpredictable. I feel like it is definitely going to be a rough couple of months using it and facing against it. However, super strong Pokemon, not too surprising. The Throat Spray was pretty active. I don't think we really got to use the Terra Ground option much. However, it was a option and it could have actually put in some work if we were able to build up towards it. However, it's an Arceus, it's absolutely strong, and Gastrodon was actually pretty solid in the format, especially when we faced the Kyogres and the Water Shifus that this team didn't exactly appreciate. If you want to try out the team, the rental code is on the screen. Hopefully it's still available by the time the video comes out. If you would like to check out the details of the team and the creator, there'll be a link to the description down below, and of course subscribe to the channel for more doubles content as always.